Is there more to Art the Clown than meets the eye? How did he survive his own suicide? And what part does Victoria play in the overarching plot? Turns out, there's a lot to unpack in the first Terrifier movie. The opening murder scene in Terrifier isn't committed by Art the Clown. Instead, it opens with broadcast host Monica Brown interviewing a severely disfigured woman who is the sole survivor of a killing spree that happened 1 year before. Monica antagonizes the woman, speculating that Art the Clown might still be alive, though the woman is insistent he isn't.
He's dead. I saw it happen.
Later in her dressing room, Monica caustically disparages the woman, and it proves to be her undoing. The woman appears out of nowhere, lunges at her, and gouges out her eyes. From there, we meet friends Tara and Dawn, who have just wrapped their drunken Halloween celebrations. In costume, they run into Art. Dawn thinks he's cute, though Tara reasons there's something off about this random clown. Horror convention dictates an arbitrary detour to a remote location, so after Dawn's car has a tire slashed, Tara absconds into an abandoned office building to use the restroom. At least Dawn acknowledges the cliché in her dialogue.
Maybe that guy has a bathroom that you can use.
Who?
That creepy guy, who just got out of that even creepier looking building.
Art pursues, of course, and violently murders anyone in his way. But once you're convinced that it's following the 80s slasher playbook perfectly, Terrifier arrives at a subversive third-act twist. For the brutal first half of Terrifier, Tara makes for a pretty efficient final girl. She's quick to act, strategic, and pretty handy with a 2x4. Director Leone, however, takes a different tack. As Tara looks to successfully take Art down, the killer comedically pulls out a gun and shoots her. It's a baffling moment, clearly played for laughs. Slasher villains don't often use firearms after all, though it leaves a protagonist-sized hole in the movie. Luckily for the audience, though unluckily for her, Tara's sister Victoria arrives. Tara had called her earlier asking for a ride, and she arrives at the derelict building none the wiser. Foolishly, Victoria spends a protracted beat wandering through damp corridors and dimly lit alleys, calling out for her sister. Victoria, why would Tara be in this random basement? Inevitably, she runs afoul of Art, and the final reel is little more than a condensed iteration of the conventional slasher run-fight-hide ending. Art successfully mows Victoria down with a truck just as the police arrive, eating part of her face before he ostensibly dies by suicide. Art is taken to the morgue, reanimates, and kills the coroner. Victoria, it's revealed, is the disfigured woman from the opening scene. It's standard horror stuff, but it yields profound consequences, especially given Victoria's place in the Terrifier lore. Before Terrifier 2 would expand on Art the Clown's mythology in surprising, terrifying ways, the first film managed at its core to simply be a grittily effective slasher movie. Defined by its gruesome set pieces, Terrifier gamely carved a name for itself in a crowded horror space. Conceived with both love and craftsmanship, despite a $35,000 budget, Terrifier emerged as the rare indie horror release to successfully break into the mainstream.
You already have 8 likes.
Between the first and second movie, Leone inundated the franchise with plenty of lore. There are other dead clowns, familial connections, and rumors of Art being impossible to kill. That proves to be true, of course, as Terrifier 2 protagonist Sienna kills Art several times, only for him to get back up again. And don't forget how the film ends with Victoria giving birth to Art's severed head, possibly one of the most memorable post-credit sequences of all time. She's set to play a part in Terrifier 3 as well, so fans can expect to learn more about her twisted connection to the killer. Not that it was unclear before, but the ending of Terrifier firmly establishes Art the Clown as an unkillable monster. Within the storied history of slasher films, that's not necessarily uncommon. John Carpenter's Halloween ends with Michael Myers surviving several gunshot wounds before disappearing into the streets of Haddonfield. And just about every Friday the 13th movie punctuates its ending with one final Jason Voorhees scare. Terrifier, despite its modest origins, clearly had bigger, more mythic intentions, and in keeping both Art and Victoria alive, Leone cultivated what he needed for a shocking sequel. Art the Clown was originally conceived as the broad idea of a clown terrorizing a woman on a bus. That nightmarish idea, of course, would springboard into the 21st century's most surprising mainstream horror franchise to date. No one could have anticipated the sunglasses-wearing goober of a clown would emerge as the slasher villain to beat, but he has. That trajectory is unequivocally linked to the first film's ending. In sticking to the rules of the slasher subgenre, never kill off your villain for good, Leone's confidence and adherence to history paved the way for him to do something truly special. In 2023, both Terrifier and Terrifier 2 were re-released in theaters. That kind of fanfare is an undeniable sign that with just 2 movies, Leone has engendered a loyal fan base of eager moviegoers itching to see what kind of brutality Art the Clown will get up to next. The ending of the first Terrifier might seem small-scale in its own right, but the sequel doubles down on the Art the Clown lore, filling the feature with plenty of biblical imagery and dense allegories to elevate it above its horror brethren. Art the Clown is now firmly a supernatural killer to rival the likes of Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. In essence, the ending of Terrifier has culled from the best of both worlds. Art is defined by Myers' unstoppable brutality and Krueger's tether to dream logic and surrealism. The clown represents big bucks, an uber-violent slasher killer whose final scare would pave the way for one of the most successful horror sequels of all time. Of course, if what we know about Terrifier 3 is any indication, Art won't be slowing down anytime soon.
Stay back. Stop, please stop. Stay away from me.
In an interview with Bloody Disgusting, Leone laid out his primary intentions with the forthcoming 3rd installment. He said, "My goal going into this, first and foremost, was to go back tonally more in the vein of Terrifier, in terms of just the simplistic, grindhouse, gritty, dirty slasher that I love and what made it what it is." He similarly suggested that it would be a mistake to depart too much from what made the first movie work. For reference, Terrifier is exactly what Leone describes, a truncated, merciless slasher film. Terrifier 2 is much bigger and mythological, expanding the universe in potentially unsustainable, albeit exciting ways. So it goes without saying that Leone will have to get a little creative to thread the needle between these 2 thematic approaches and keep the ongoing plot tethered to the beating heart of the franchise. Judging by his work so far, there probably isn't anything to worry about.